One actor on this set was paid more than any actress in history up to that point. Another had already lost the role of a lifetime just months before filming began. The epic that was supposed to save a genre instead helped bury it. Welcome back to Golden Era Stars. 62 years later, here's where they all are.
Sophia Loren played Lucilla, the emperor's daughter, torn between duty and love, who grew up in desperate poverty in bomb-scarred wartime Naples before becoming the most famous actress on the planet. She was 28 when filming began in the frozen hills outside Madrid in January 1963. By then, Loren had already won an Academy Award for Two Women, and producers paid her a reported $1 million to appear in this film, making her one of the highest-paid performers in movie history at that point, male or female. During the brutal Spanish winter shoot, she reportedly took over the hotel kitchen and cooked pasta for the entire freezing cast and crew.
Today, at 91, Sophia Loren is the last surviving major star from this cast. Born Sofia Villani Ciccolone in Rome, since he had been married before. The couple stayed together until his death in 2007, and Loren still makes occasional public and film appearances. On screen, Lucilla watched an empire crumble around her. In real life, Loren built one that has outlasted almost everyone she ever worked with.
Stephen Boyd played Livius, the loyal general offered the throne itself, who just months earlier had lost the far bigger role of Mark Antony in Cleopatra, when production delays pushed him out and Richard Burton stepped in instead. He was 31 when filming started, already a rising star after his Golden Globe-winning turn as Messala in Ben-Hur. Boyd had been discovered years earlier while working as a doorman at a London cinema, when actor and director Sir Michael Redgrave noticed him and helped launch his film career.
Stephen Boyd died at just 45 of a massive heart attack while playing golf with his wife in California in 1977. Born William Miller in Northern Ireland, he later took his professional surname from his mother, Martha Boyd. His career never fully recovered from this film's commercial failure, which he blamed directly for derailing the momentum Ben-Hur had given him. By his final years, he was taking guest spots on shows like Hawaii Five-0. He had married twice, and his second wife, Elizabeth Mills, was by his side when he collapsed on the golf course. On screen, Livius turned down an empire out of loyalty. Off-screen, the man once in line to play Rome's most famous lover spent his last years fighting for parts.
Alec Guinness played Marcus Aurelius, the dying emperor agonizing over who should inherit Rome, who himself never legally knew the identity of his own father. He was 48 during filming. Guinness was born illegitimate in London. His birth certificate lists no father at all, though a Scottish banker quietly paid for his private schooling for years without anyone confirming why.
Alec Guinness died at 86 in August 2000, near his home in West Sussex, England. Born Alec Guinness de Cuff, he had already won an Academy Award for The Bridge on the River Quayle by the time he played this dying emperor. 14 years later, at 63, he took a role he privately dismissed as fairy tale rubbish, Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, and became more globally famous for it than for anything else in his 6-decade career. He remained married to his wife Marula Salomon for over 60 years until his death. On screen, he played an emperor forced to choose his successor. Off-screen, Guinness spent his entire life without ever confirming who his own father was.
James Mason played Timonides, the philosopher soldier trying to hold the empire together through reason rather than force, who had quietly rescued a piece of film history nobody else even realized was missing. He was 53 when filming began. Years earlier, after buying Buster Keaton's old Hollywood mansion, Mason discovered several reels of Keaton's believed lost films stashed away during renovations and made sure they were preserved rather than destroyed.
James Mason died at 75 in 1984 of a massive heart attack at his home on Lake Geneva in Switzerland, having survived an earlier heart attack back in 1959. Born James Neville Mason in Yorkshire, England, he would go on to give one of his most iconic performances just 2 years after this film, playing a very different kind of obsessive professor in Kubrick's Lolita. He married twice. His second wife, actress Clarissa Kay, remained with him until his death.
On screen, Maimonides preached calm philosophy against chaos. Off-screen, the same actor had once single-handedly saved a piece of silent film history from vanishing forever.
Christopher Plummer played Commodus, the vain and murderous heir who destroys his own family for power, a role he'd trade just 2 years later for the most beloved father figure in movie musical history. He was 33 during filming. Long before either man was famous, a young William Shatner had actually understudied Plummer's Shakespearean roles at Canada's Stratford Festival, watching and learning from the sidelines.
Christopher Plummer died at 91 in 2021 at his Connecticut home after suffering a fall. Born Arthur Christopher Orme Plummer in Toronto, he went on to play Captain Von Trapp in The Sound of Music the following year, a role he privately found overly sentimental, despite its enduring popularity. Decades later, at 82, he became the oldest actor in history to win a competitive acting Oscar for beginners. His daughter from his first marriage, Amanda Plummer, became a celebrated actress in her own right, though Plummer admitted he didn't see her again until she was 18 following his early divorce. On screen, Commodus tore his family apart chasing the throne. Off-screen, Plummer's own regrets ran quieter, but they ran just as deep.
Anthony Quayle played Virillus, a loyal senator serving Rome in his later years, but the actor had spent World War II doing something far more dangerous than reciting Shakespeare. He was 49 when filming began. Quayle had served with Britain's Special Operations Executive, parachuting behind enemy lines to fight alongside resistance partisans in the Balkans, an experience worlds away from any stage or film set.
Anthony Quayle died at 76 in 1989 of liver cancer at his home in London. Born John Anthony Quayle, he went on to earn an Academy Award nomination for playing Cardinal Wolsey in Anne of the Thousand Days, and was knighted in 1985 for his services to theater, having helped lay the groundwork for what became the Royal Shakespeare Company. He was married to actress Dorothy Hyson, and the couple had 3 children together. On screen, Virillus served the empire faithfully in old age. Off-screen, Quayle had already risked his life for his country decades before he ever put on a toga.
John Ireland played Balamar, the barbarian chieftain threatening Rome's northern frontier, though the actor's own path into show business started in a very different arena. He was 48 when filming began. Ireland got his start not as an actor, but as a competitive swimmer performing in water carnivals, and years later earned an Academy Award nomination opposite his own real-life wife at the time, Joanne True, in All the King's Men.
John Ireland died at 78 in 1992 of leukemia in Santa Barbara, California. Born John Benjamin Ireland in Vancouver, Canada, he worked steadily in westerns and war films for decades, closing out his career that same year with a supporting role in Waxwork 2: Lost in Time. In his 40s, a much-publicized relationship with a teenage actress drew public controversy. He later settled into a third marriage that lasted until his death, and spent his final years running a restaurant in Santa Barbara. On screen, Balamar threatened Rome's borders from the outside. Off-screen, this one-time carnival swimmer had already crossed plenty of boundaries of his own. Omar Sharif played Sohemus, a minor ally caught in the empire's political games, though within just a few years, he would become one of the biggest stars in the world, and eventually a genuine championship-level bridge player. He was 30 during filming. Born Michel Dimitri Chalhoub in Alexandria, Egypt, he had converted from Catholicism to Islam in order to marry Egyptian film star Faten Hamama, and would later joke that he spent so much time playing bridge, people wondered why he bothered making movies at all. Omar Sharif died at 83 in 2015 of a heart attack at a Cairo clinic, following a public battle with Alzheimer's disease. This film came out the same year Sharif broke through internationally in Lawrence of Arabia, and just a year before his career-defining role in Dr. Zhivago. He and Hamama eventually divorced, and decades later, Sharif said she remained the only woman he ever truly loved. He never remarried. On screen, his character was a small player in a much larger game of power. Off-screen, Sharif built an entire second career at the world's bridge tables, once saying he'd rather lose a fortune at cards than star in a bad film.
Mel Ferrer played Cleander, a schemer in Commodus's corrupt court, while off-camera he was married to Audrey Hepburn, one of the most famous women alive. He was 45 when filming began. Ferrer had originally set out to be a writer at Princeton, publishing a children's book before drifting into Broadway dancing and, almost by accident, into acting and eventually directing.
Mel Ferrer died at 90 in 2008 at a convalescent home near Santa Barbara, California. Born Melchior Gaston Ferrer in New Jersey, he went on to direct and produce several of Hepburn's biggest films, including the thriller Wait Until Dark, staying professionally entangled with her for years, even after their 1968 divorce. He married 5 times in total. His and Hepburn's son, Sean, grew up to become a filmmaker himself. On screen, Cleander schemed quietly for influence in another man's court. Off-screen, Ferrer spent years shaping the career of the biggest star he was ever married to. The fall of the Roman Empire hit theaters in March 1964, directed by Anthony Mann on a staggering $16 million budget, only to pull in less than $5 million domestically and help end Hollywood's era of giant historical epics. Of these 9 stars, 8 have now passed away, leaving Sophia Loren as the sole survivor of a cast once billed as the most expensive ever assembled. The empire on screen fell in an afternoon. The empire of talent behind it took over 60 years to fade.